2:00. It looks like we have a quorum. And hopefully my colleagues are fired up and ready to go. Sometimes after long council meetings, it gets a little tough, but we'll make it through. So I want to call the joint meeting for the Rules and Open Government Committee and Committee of the Whole to order. And Tony, can we have a roll call, please?
Arenas? Cohen?
Here.
Davis? Davis, I can see you, but I need to hear you.
Here, sorry, I
Thank
must
you.
not have hit the mute button.
Peralez? Jones?
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. So we are going to start out with the agenda for February 15th. And when it comes to a motion, will the maker of the motion also include the ad sheet? So we are going to start out on pages 4 and 5. Six and 7. Eight and 9. So going back to 3.3. So Lee, in the interest of load management and not having a lot more of those 11:30, 12 o'clock meetings, is 3.3 something that has to be heard at this upcoming council meeting?
No, it is not, Vice Mayor. If the committee would like to defer, we would recommend giving staff direction to come back at a meeting in March, and we'll look at the Horizon report and try to identify a meeting that isn't loaded at this point. But you can absolutely defer that item to another date.
Great. Well, the maker of the motion, please consider that. Okay, so it's at 8, 9, 10, and 11. Go back to 10. On item 8.1 and 8.2, what is the urgency or need to have it on that specific agenda for each one of those items?
Sure, thank you, Vice Mayor. So 8.1, which is to be heard concurrently with 10.2, could be deferred. There's not a legal reason for it to be heard next week. However, the administration would like 8.2 to be heard, as that would hold up a funding agreement as part of our recovery efforts.
Okay. So will the maker of the motion please consider whether we should defer 8.1 as well? All right, so you said 10 and 11, 12 and 13.
Vice Mayor, didn't we
Yes.
already defer 8.1 one time before?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I'll make comments. I can make comments later, but I just think that we don't actually have too long of an agenda. I only see 2 items, including 8.1, that look like they might be time consuming.
Yeah. I just wanted to have that, that's a fair point, council member. I wanted to have that discussion in the interest of our physical and mental well-being.
Yes, you are understandably tighter on these issues after we've had a later night.
Yes.
Understood.
All right, so 12 and 13. And that is it. And again, there's a ad sheet. And so I'm going to go to public comments first.
Before we go to public comment, I just want to note that on the ad sheet is a proposed ballot measure, which could have maybe have a lengthy discussion.
That's a great point. Thank you, Tony. All right, to the public, Blair.
Hi, Blair Beekman here. Happy Wednesday. Happy we're about mid-February time. Interesting meeting last night. I was surprised at budget issues that really talked about the future of technology needs and AI technology needs, it sounds like.
Blair?
With your digital inclusion items on this agenda today. Notice how I nicely put that together, Vice Mayor?
That was smooth.
With your
Keep going.
digital inclusion items today, a reminder and the importance of good AI practices and the civil rights and civil protection ideals that are incredibly important to our AI thinking at this time, and digital inclusion needs that, I just, it's my mantra here, just to remind yourselves of what open public policies and accountability with technology can really offer ourselves as a full community process. And digital inclusion needs public policy ideas and accountability for itself and how we can define our community future. Good luck in all of these matters and issues. And to offer with the ad sheet, thank you that you've worked out that the City Commission, Charter Commission needs to possibly still work on a legal language for this June election time for the mayoral issues. Are they going to still be working on issues for the fall election time? And what items and what legal language can be placed on the fall election process for the future of the charter to bring to the voters to vote on if they want it for the charter or not? Is the City Charter Commission going to work on a language for that time as well? And just to mention that here, and just so we can be open and knowledgeable about things and questioning. Thanks a lot.
All right. Tessa?
Okay, good. Thank you. You can hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, good. I don't have a little thing. Let me see. Where my little timer. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. Okay, so you have on the screen, like the blackboard in our classroom, final agenda, whatever that means. And then you have all the rules of how you're gonna kick us out and all that. But that's getting back to, luckily, I heard what Blair was saying. So this is why it takes a village to have democracy. And, he's talking about digital inclusion. So thank you, Blair. And that's very important as we go forward into what my husband, as the biologist in climate sciences, not are we in the age of they call it Anthropocene, which is human cause, that humans are causing so much problems. He's calling it now the age of chaos. That's where we're going into. And as we sit here today at 75 degrees and LA is 85, we have a lot of problems that we are facing and we're not facing. And so we need to make changes. Okay, I know I'm lost the thread of digital inclusion, but I'm getting there. Thank you, sweetie. And the digital inclusion is very critical as we move away from burning fossil fuels that we have to do to survive, that we must use our digital democracy and our digitalization. We are so lucky to have a plan B as humans, because we have a plan B and we saw how it helped us with our COVID, which is also brought to us because of our fossil fuel use. And so we had the plan B, and we must stay in regards to that. We must keep that going and have that happen in all of our methodologies, with our work, our school. Everything needs to be hyper local, and so that we're not driving and not flying. That needs to be the change. And the digitalization of our democracy and our schools and our workplaces and needs to be digital and remote. And
All right, Brian?
Okay, hi, Vice Mayor. Really quick, I wanted to ask, this is for the consent items, right?
It's for all the items on the agenda.
Okay, well, anyway, the final agenda. One thing that I was brought up, if we could have, this is how we're supposed to behave, and it's pretty, it's not bad. We do need that. Santa Clara, and I think a couple of, right on the agenda is written where the council agrees to I recognize every email that comes in. I don't maybe personally beat it. What you do when we write emails, when we send comments, when we send faxes, when we do this stuff. So at least that there's some guidance that I'm still under the impression that a lot of that, it goes into public record because it has to, but it's not paid attention to. It's probably me that does that, conflating one time it didn't happen, and I tend to do that. And I apologize to Miss Davis because her staff has gotten a few of my grumpy groans, and I'm not going to be doing that anymore. It's not appropriate. I apologize, ma'am. So what I really want, if we just had it on there, it says, I do read the emails, and maybe what's the best way? Everybody learns different, everybody reads different. Is it emails? Is it bullets? Is it video? What is it?
Hey, Brian, you lost me a little bit. How's that tied to the agenda?
Well, the agenda, I'm asking this to be listed on the agenda itself,
Okay,
that you're doing that. It's like best practices are listed right on the agenda.
got it.
And
Okay.
that'd be, all right, that's it. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Brian. All right, that's it for public comments. Bringing it back to the committee. Councilmember Davis, I know you had some questions.
Yeah, thank you, Vice Mayor. So regarding 8.1, I think it was originally scheduled for March and it got moved up. I was remembering after my first comments, I think it got moved up to February because there was a concern about being overscheduled in March. Is that right, Lee?
That is correct. If we deferred cannabis, we would be deferring it to
Into
probably
March.
the last meeting of March or early April.
Yeah, and this item is one, the cannabis equity is one that's been on hold for quite some time. So I would rather not defer it. I'm fine with deferring 3.3 to March. I think we're all sort of understanding where we are on the roadmap. We get a lot of updates about that. So I'm gonna make the motion to accept the agenda with the ad sheet and with a deferral for 3.3 to March.
Second.
Thanks.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Anything else, council member? If not, we'll go on to, I thought I saw Councilmember Morales' hand raised.
I dropped it. Thank you.
Okay. So I have a motion and a second. Councilmember Morales. Go ahead.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'm just wondering, I'm sorry, and I was having a hard time hearing. Did we talk about the 8.1 that's connected to the 10.2?
Yes, so we're gonna keep.
To the, no, I'm kidding. That's where it ends.
Yeah, so we're gonna, the motion is to keep that on the agenda.
Oh, okay. I know that the Planning Commission is meeting tonight on this. How ready is staff to, I guess I'm trying to figure out, will you be ready to, because I thought I heard that there might be a supplemental in the works as a response maybe to that decision, whatever that is. Can you talk about that a little bit more, Lee? Because I just want to make sure that we've got all the ducks in a row.
Yes, absolutely. So our intent, obviously, since this was last heard by the Community and Economic Development Committee, staff has continued to engage with the community. So we have additional community input that we tend to outline in a supplemental memo for the council. And I believe at this point, we would also be referring Planning Commission's recommendation and any other discussion that came up through that with the supplemental for your own kind of knowledge and your decision-making progress around these. If something does happen at Planning Commission that is, inconsistent with the process, obviously staff could recommend deferral next week if needed, but want to give staff flexibility today to see how that fleshes out.
Okay. Well, that sounds good to me. I just want the council also to have enough time to be able to take the information, be thoughtful with it. I know it's been some time in the works, and this is a really important issue for me, as I know it is for many of us. So I want to make sure that it's all lined up. And so I'm glad to hear that in case we need to, we can push this back a little bit, because I'd rather have it be all lined up and ready to go rather than we're just pulling it together because we need to move it forward. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure.
Great.
And just clarifying, I'm being told by the team right now that the supplemental will be out by this Friday.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well,
Great.
that leaves us the weekend to read. Thank you.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, I just hope I'll remember what I read over the weekend. So
I know. I don't even know what we did last week. I'm going to blame it all on the pandemic.
so we have a motion and a second. Tony?
Arenas,
Yes.
Cohen,
Aye.
Davis,
Yes.
Peralez,
Yes.
Jones.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is meeting schedules, release date for study session. And I am going to go to the public first for public comments. And these comments are specifically to release the date for a study session on February 14th. So Tessa?
Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you very much. And thank you for the good blackboard and, making it a great classroom by putting those dates up, the information up, and do that at the council meeting too. I don't know if you are, but please do that. Anyway, basically, the release date for the study session, I think what was problematic is that when we do these study sessions, like in terms of our charter review commission, we're having to create a study session, and you said that, and I understand there's a lot of details about it, and so you needed a future date, and I think in terms of the, what do we call it, the government of the whole and all the people, remember, like Paul Soto says, you do this for us, and we're the ones that are is supposed to be involved. And so, and what I'm just saying is the breakdown of the communication of these study sessions, because it was on the agenda. I mean, we finished the charter review commission, back. There was a lot of pressure. You got to do it. We have no time for climate crisis. We have no time for this, that, and other, because we have to finish it. I mean, you wanted to pull the whole thing because of time. And, and now here we are, trying to make a study session. So my suggestion is that we talk about these things right away so people can calendarize it. The people can calendarize it, because we're not in your email list to remind us about the study sessions. And yet they're so critical for, public participation and this critical issues of our charter review commission. So my suggestion is that we have these dates already in advance. And as soon as you make a decision to make a study session, it's publicly acknowledged, it's publicly aware. And so that's a critical issue for public participation.
Okay. That's the last public speaker. So we're going back to the panel. Councilmember Morenas, I see your hand is up.
Sorry, that was from last time.
I'll
Okay.
move that we release the study session date.
All right. It's been
Second.
moved and seconded. Tony?
Arenas,
Yes.
Cohen,
Aye.
Davis,
Yes.
Peralez,
Yes.
Jones.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, on to the public record. I'm going to go to the public first. Blair?
Hi, Blair Beekman here. I wrote about 4 letters. I'm working on an evolving process that, I've been listing 4 items that I think we can really work on to help improve the public meeting process. And good luck how we can work on that. I think Tony and the city clerk staff is really working well on the meeting minutes process for our future. They're trying to return that to its better practices. Thank you. And they're working on budgeting their own time for the council agendas that appear each week at Rules and Open Government on Wednesdays. They're doing that earlier, like pre-12 p.m., which is very cool. Thank you. If she can be able to work that way, and if you can budget that to do that all the time or most all the time, that would be awesome. And that's really making progress for all of us and what Paul and Tessa and myself have all been asking for. And then maybe you can work on other issues around that in the future. But to get this stuff down is an important first step. And I want to continue working on a step process of better understandings and better practices, open practices. The consent calendar language needs a few more words in it to make it more clear that people can ask actually still for items to be pulled at consent time. Why not make it official and just offer a few more words that a council person can sponsor pulling an item if necessary. And also about the public meeting process. The first 3 items of the public meeting, the closed session report, the orders of the day, and the city manager's report never allowed public comment time. A few simple words can make it easy to understand at the beginning of the meeting that the public can have 1 minute of public comment at those times. Let's work on these issues if you can. Thank you.
Tessa?
Oh, Blair, thank you, Blair Beekman, for all of your public participation. And it's so important. And just really, Blair and Paul Soto, it's so valuable to have other community members participating. And we're really getting so much more input. I say that in these crisis times that we're in, the public's voice is very important because we have to put our best minds together to solve this problem. And we're not, that's not what's happening in our political sphere because money is corrupting it. And so it's so helpful to have the public involved that doesn't get paid, because that's where you get the truth. And you also get it from the science, the truth. So in terms of my letter, I had a letter and I'm so proud that I got to see it. It's in that. And I finally figured it out that the rules, there's an email for rules and I can get a letter and I can comment on it. And that was fabulous. And so I wanted to thank Tony for all the good work. I know I mentioned, we should fire Tony. That's because we've been talking about that there has been problems. But I realized that she's really fixing a lot of the problems and, really appreciate her for doing that. And even in this letter, I felt that I had really gotten mad at Ryan Smith that he canceled my appointment, even though I worked on setting it up and setting a Zoom and doing all this. And they said, I never got it. I didn't respond. And he wanted an agenda. And I can, I was going to write another letter saying, yes, I can do an agenda, even though I was kind of like pushed out. But the real issue is about our roads and how dangerous they are. And the issue is the agenda for everything is our climate crisis, the chaos that we're going into, and that we have to stop burning fossil fuels. There's no other agenda. And that's the whole agenda. And we have to stop driving, stop flying, and stop the movement of goods. And we have to.
All right, bringing it back to the committee. Can I get a motion in a second, please?
Motion to note and file.
Second.
Ray has been moved and seconded. Tony?
Arenas,
Yes.
Cohen,
Aye.
Davis,
Yes.
Peralez,
Yes.
Jones.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next is boards, commissions, and committees. And we have 2 items under that category that I'd like to request that we take it as one item for discussion and vote. And I'm going to go to the public first. And I don't see any hands raised. So bringing it back to the committee. Can I get a motion for items FA and FB?
I'll move.
So moved. I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Tony?
Arenas,
Yes.
Cohen,
Aye.
Davis,
Yes.
Peralez,
Yes.
Jones.
Aye. Okay, on to the consent calendar, and I'm gonna go to the public first, and I see Tessa, you have your hand raised, and you're gonna speak specifically to an item on consent. So go ahead.
Well, oh, okay, good. Well, actually, I did raise my hand. I was having trouble with my dirty phone or whatever it was. I really wanted to comment on the commissions. And so I'm sure there's something on our consent that deals with our commissions and committees.
Tessa, Tessa, the items on the consent calendar are two special events. One is a special events for the Berryessa Arts Festival, and one is a City Hall lighting display for African American History Month. It has nothing to do with boards and commissions.
Okay, fine. Okay, so thank you, Tony, for clarifying it. Appreciate that. And so basically, the African American, where we need to have more issues. My girlfriend, who's black, or she looks black, but she's Mexican, and so she says she's not African, and she's an indigenous person here, and so how are we? She's very upset about all the BS about African this and African that, when we're not doing one thing that's really been bothering her is there's a community center, a senior center in our neighborhood in the Garden Alameda. That's a housing and urban development. So it's got a lot of resources that are very helpful to the community, like community centers. And she lives at Cinnabar Commons. She's on, she has subsidized housing.
Hey, Tessa?
And yes, I'm getting to the point about African. This is what it's related to, is that she's
It's
very
about the
upset.
City Hall lighting display.
I know, but it's all about the African month and all that. It's related, Chappie. And the thing is that there is no African people in this. There's all Asians that don't speak English and don't even vote. And she's very upset about that. And she's also upset about what's happening at 615 Stockton Avenue. And these are issues. This is her voice. And because she wants housing, she wants senior housing, and she can't get into that
Tessa?
facility. It's all okay. This is an important part about
Blair?
Hi, Blair Beekman here. To try to speak to the African American History Month and lighting ceremony for the City Hall. I guess to offer a bit of history, I've been incredibly impressed by the work of Rosa Parks and their work at the Birmingham bus boycott, or of the Birmingham bus boycott time, and how a community, they work together to still function as a community, but to make a very important statement as a community, what can be our future. And I think it was a really important way to work, and I think it gave important lessons for ourselves, how we can think of things into our future, how we can work better in our future, which is what the African American community can do for a lot with
Hey,
our
Blair?
issues. It's from their past history. It's
Hey,
from their
Blair?
past history.
This
Vice
is
Mayor
specific-
Jones?
Yeah, I hear you, Blair. It's specific to the lighting.
Okay, you're tired of me today, but I'll quickly conclude. It's from this history that I think we can learn some incredibly decent, peaceful, important lessons to move us into a collective good future for all of us. Good luck how we can do that, and consider it from the good ideas of African American History Month. Thank you.
Thank you. So that's the end of public comments. Bringing it back to the committee. Can I get a motion, please?
Move approval.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Tony?
Morenas,
Yes.
Cohen,
Aye.
Davis.
Yes.
Peralez,
Yes.
Jones.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is the Rainbow Chamber membership. It's a memo from Councilmember Foley. Gonna go to the public first. Tessa? Gonna speak specifically to this item?
yeah. Okay, good. Rainbow Chamber membership. I'm sure it's something to do with LGBTQI, correct? Right? And
It's-
so, yeah, it is. Okay, good. I'm 63, but I'm not that dumb, I guess. Okay, good. So basically, the issue is that we have got to start focusing on our survival as a species, and that equity, even though we're, here it is, Rainbow Chamber membership, and we're trying to include and float all the boats and everything like that. And even when we talk about the Green New Deal, there's a lot of equity issues. But when what we're dealing with in an age of chaos, is that we have to, that we are going into, because we are going to 10 degrees C. I mean, we're not stopping our fossil fuel use, and it's just going up. And so, okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying is that when I know we're talking about Rainbow Chamber membership, and we talk a lot about equity. We talk a lot about equity in our community, and we're not talking about the issues of getting us to zero fossil fuel use that is going to save us as a species, along with all the other species that are going extinct.
Yeah, I understand that, but can you keep your comments specifically to the Rainbow Chamber of Commerce membership, please?
She's doing so. Okay, I'm saying that yes, we're looking at the Rainbow Chamber membership, and we're looking at equity issues a lot, and we have to start. When you have an emergency, you have to start focusing on that completely. That's what it is. When their house is on fire, that's all you think about is getting out and figuring out what you're going to do to survive. And that's what I'm trying to say, is that as we have all these things on our agenda that deal with equity and in terms of our different, differences, but when we're dealing with our species and trying to survive, we have to focus on that.
All right, that's the last public speaker on this item, bringing it back to the committee.
Move approval.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Tony?
Arenas? Arenas? Cohen?
Aye.
Davis?
Yes.
Peralez?
Yes.
Jones?
Aye.
Thank you.
Tony, and it's a yes for me. Sorry
Thank
about
you.
that.
Okay. Item passes. Next item is the monthly report of activities for January 31st, 2022. And Joe, you want to proceed?
Good afternoon, council members. Joe Roy, City Auditor. I'm here with our monthly report of activities for January. In January, we issued one audit related to commission technology, and we have a number of projects underway, which is the balance of our workload is in the attachment with some target dates for some of our upcoming projects. I do want to note there was a project added to our work plan last night as part of the council actions related to the community forest plan. And that is not represented in this memo, but we'll have it for next month. With that, I'm happy to take any questions and ask you to accept the report.
Great. Thank you, Joe. I'm going to go to the public first. Blair?
Hi, Blair here. I hope I'm getting used to saying that, there's many items on the monthly auditor's report that he brings here that I feel can be commented on by the public. And it's an interesting way for the public to be involved with the process and be more familiarize yourselves with the process. There's clean energy issues, worker theft issues, green tree management issues, a whole bunch of issues, equity pledge that a person can speak on that the auditor is working on at this time. So to mention a few things about the tree report last night, and that we still be working on tree issues. Just to reiterate what I said yesterday, there wasn't much talk about what we can be expecting in 2023 and 24. And I think we're at a time we have to start offering some open, honest plans, what to expect of ourselves as a city government community by 2023 and 24. So I can start to, and we can as a community, start to judge and navigate how we can work and think and act and feel. And, I know it's a difficult process to do that, but I think you need to take those important steps to make honest efforts. What can we expect in the next few years? And for that to show up on upcoming memos and budget reports. That I wonder if the tree commission report specifically tried to work around and not want to talk about. Good luck how to better do that in our future in this coming year. It's an important tool for as a community health process, as community public safety. And I hope you can learn to use it well. It could be truthful and trusting in how we can learn to do that. And the community can learn a lot. I hope we can learn the openness to do those sort of things and what I'm really always striving for and asking about. Thank you.
All right, Tessa?
Thank you. Oh, good. Thank you so much, Blair, for helping with this. Again, you're doing an amazing job. Thank you. The only thing for Joe, when he talks very quickly. It's hard to understand him. Thankfully, there was a transcript, but if you could articulate slower, that'd be good, Joe. And so basically, he didn't say much either. So thankful for Blair for saying that there was a lot in the report that wasn't gone over. And the equity, well, what was it? He was talking about sustainability and trees. And so what we're talking about is nature and how we don't have enough nature here in San Jose. And we don't. I mean, San Jose has been called when I first got here, I mean, I'm from New York City. And, when I first came to California in 1979, I was almost 21. They always talked about San Jose as the armpit of the Bay Area, because I was living in Palo Alto and Los Altos and all the beautiful places. And so, we hardly ever came down to San Jose until my husband and I bought property or moved here to rent and then bought property. But, that's an ugly legacy, to be the armpit of the Bay Area. And I think it's all about commerce. I think it's putting people, profit over people.
Hey, Tessa?
And it's very important. Okay, I know that the monthly report is about sustainability and about trees and about green energy. And the green energy future that we need to go to is really about walking and biking. Those are the people that we want to save. And we're not doing it. We're doing such a terrible job of saving the bikers and the walkers. We are not putting enough energy into that. And those are the people that we want to save, because those are the fossil fuel free people. And the ones that are burning fossil fuels are evil, immoral, selfish, and greedy.
All right, that's the end of public comments. Bringing it back to the committee. Can I get a motion, please?
Approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Tony?
Arenas,
Yes.
Cohen,
Aye.
Davis,
Yes.
Peralez,
Yes.
Jones.
Aye.
Thank you.
On to a nitrous oxide ordinance presented by Councilmember Davis. I know, Lee, you have some additional input on that item.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Staff would like to request a deferral of this item for 1 week so that staff can properly analyze the recommendation and come forward with an early consideration form. I know that a lot of the policy work on the ordinance is fairly straightforward in green light, but there's some interdepartmental work that we'd like to do to better explain that and explore it over the next week. So we'd ask for a 1 week deferral.
And Councilmember Davis, is that all right with you?
It is. I'd like to make a few comments, and we do have a hand up in the public.
Okay, if we were going to defer it, then we weren't going to have a discussion on it. But if your desire is to have a discussion, then I will take public comments. So Tessa?
Well, I was, interesting. I was going to ask my Google, but are you there? You hear me? You hear it?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. So I don't see. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I was just nitrous oxide ordinance. I don't know exactly what nitrous oxide, except I think it's used in dentistry, and you get high from nitrous oxide. Maybe there's a drug problem, and that's definitely something my son has been working on, is how we're really addressing drug use. He's 21, and not that he's using drugs, though he has. It's more a matter of, it's very rampant in our community, drug use. And so how do we, deal with creating safety in regards to providing alternative to drug use, or not using more powerful drugs that are too powerful and can really hurt people, and that we need to, focus on drugs that aren't that way. I guess you can call it that way, marijuana, maybe because it grows naturally. And so that we, having these artificial drug things are the ones that, can be problematic to us, give us too much, mental stimulation or insights or, just too much energy, kundalini, as they call it in yoga, rising of that to be able to have such insights. And that, that's why drugs are in general not a good idea, because it raises that, energy much more and it's hard to handle. And so how do we deal as a community to, use our, I guess in this nitrous oxide ordinance that might be being abused. And even with marijuana, it needs to be, I always, said is that, back to the ancient ways, the Native Americans would use marijuana, but it was more communal because it was a guided, it was, we need more. And that's what, young people need is more adult involvement in their lives for their moral development, and even in any way using any kind of psychotropic drug. So that's important to have more.
All right. That's the end of public comments. Councilmember Davis.
Thank you. I just want to advocate for closing this loophole in the law that allows nitrous oxide to be sold in vape and smoke shops. I appreciate that the staff needs another week to work out some of the details, and that it sounds like they're favorable for creating this ordinance. It's really, I see this as an extension of our work on banning flavored nicotine products. This is another inhalant that is being sold in vape and smoke shops when really it's for medical and dental use and for whipped cream containers. And I don't think there are any chefs going to vape and smoke shops to refill their whipped cream canisters. So this is something that we just need to close the loophole and take care of it, and hopefully keep these inhalants out of the hands of our kids. So I'm happy to make the motion for the deferral for a week, but I hope that we will be able to move this forward quickly after that.
Thank you, Councilmember Davis. I don't think I'll ever think of whipped cream the same ever again. So we have a motion, and can we get a second?
I guess I'm happy to second it. I was going to ask a question before I support deferring it.
Okay, go ahead, Councilmember Cohen.
So I just wanted to ask Lee, I guess in terms of the order of things, you'd prefer to do that additional analysis before rules addresses it, even though we could move it forward today, and then still have that analysis done before council hears it?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two parts of that recommendation. There's the actual policy and kind of the ordinance work, which, Nora has looked at and is fairly straightforward. So council could do that. There's other parts of that recommendation around enforcement. And so as opposed to coming forward this week, these things kind of post on Friday, and I didn't want the team to work through the weekend on it. But because this is kind of cross-departmental, and we often with these proposals do try and get to a green light, looking at existing resources and kind of where gaps are, if we were to address that implementation. And so trying to move things forward, in a positive way, just required a little bit more analysis.
And then that's fine. I'm very supportive of this, and you might know, I don't know who knows, but our office wrote a memo on the exact same thing that we were going to submit for next week's rules. But because we submitted for an early consideration form, I guess we were waiting that extra week. So it's fine with me to wait the week. I just, I'm very supportive too. And, if we can move it forward, great. So I guess we'll wait a week and do it then. So I'll second the motion.
Fantastic. So it's been moved and seconded. Tony?
Arenas,
Yes.
Cohen?
Aye.
Davis?
Yeah.
Peralez?
Yes.
Jones?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is amend rules and open government committee work plan. Gonna go to the public first, and Tessa, you're gonna speak specifically to the rules and open government committee work plan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. Well, the only suggestion I've been making, one of the suggestions in the rules and open government work plan, as it comes to the community, and it's, don't forget, it's rules and open government and for the whole and for the community. And, there's been a lot of issues about open government and, that the city of San Jose has been put up against to improve. And I would say that reading the agenda is important. I think reading the agenda out loud instead of saying page 1, page 2, page 3, and that doesn't help us. What about blind people? Well, yes, yeah, right, blind people, and so that's the thing that needs to be improved to make it more for the whole. And I know that other, I think it's the county does it. They read it. They just read it out loud, and then you have an idea of what's going on if you're just listening, because a lot of us listen. So and it takes a lot of effort to sit down and read things. So it makes it more available that we can co-process and listen to the agenda. So that's my suggestion for all the work plans that come up into rules and open government. And with 45 seconds left, rules and open government work plan. I thought that was interesting what Councilman Cohen was saying, because we've been trying, I guess there's like this fast tracking that could go through rules. And that's something I haven't learned about, because we've been trying to pass the banning the gas leaf blower for years. We've been working on that. And, we've gone through, ordinance setting, but there is something where there's this rules and open government where you can come and just fast track it. And I've seen that with Sergio Jimenez trying to deal with his shopping carts. He's at the rules, and how do we move things forward faster? So I think those protocols need to be open to the public to understand better.
Blair?
Hi, thank you. Blair Beekman here. To try to quickly offer a reminder, a thank you again to the work of Tony Tabor and the city clerk staff who are getting it together on how to reintroduce the meeting minutes process and to write out good meeting minutes for rules and open government and city government process. Yeah, good luck how we can continue to build on that. And a reminder that it's very nice that they're bringing the rules, the city council agendas to rules every Wednesday before noon. If they can learn to budget their time to do that before noon consistently, it would just be a really nice service to be able to do that. And man, and they deserve a tremendous thanks for making that extra effort. And it's from there, I know Paul and Tessa and others have spoken, they would prefer the agendas to be on a Monday or Tuesday on the rules agenda. But in my understanding, it can be a bit difficult there's a lot of things to navigate and to get items onto rules, and changes are made in the last minute, like after council meetings, for instance. So the fact that you're doing it before noon is an incredibly nice step that you're taking. And thank you for those efforts. I hope you can continue those practices. And for the rules and open government process to be a process of learning. It isn't, I don't think we should be doing the public meeting process as a question of efficiency. I think we should be doing the open public meeting process, open government meeting process as a learning process, and as a process where community gathers and learns how to practice government better, and what can be our good practices based on education and knowledge and sharing. And it can be a cooperative experience and not one big.
All right, Brian?
Sorry about that. Really quick, whenever there's a work plan, the council works that together, gets a set of, it's like a set of instructions that the city staff follow, right? Basically. Is that a correct way of what a work plan is? That's where what the city is going to do is discussed and put out. Mr. Jones, is that correct? Pretty close?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Keep going.
I think it's great that you're doing this. One of the amended rules that I would like to see is to help you out. What I was looking through is that in that there's an adaptability to just add to or take from a work plan as far as like, because the city's already stretched, maybe some way for us to understand as a public just how much city staff is stressed trying to do this or that, maybe like a pie chart so we can see this is how much staff takes doing this and this, because most of the stuff that are done in these work plans are outside of the public purview. So it's like, oh, well, you know, all I want to see is the city staff not put in a situation where they work and do something that isn't. I just think sometimes the city staff gets the short end of the stick, and I want to try to find some way for that not to happen. So the real hard work they do is actually recognized in a tangible way. I know everybody tries that, but I don't think us public sometimes really realize that. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I'd like to see that as part of the work plan. And rules and open government really does have that opportunity because it's a more intimate kind of intersection. So thank you. Back, I'm done. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Paul?
Yes, Paul Soto from the Horseshoe. One thing I'd like to draw attention to is there's a level of sincerity and authenticity that Brian has brought from the last time that I had checked him on something, and I want to let him know that I appreciate it and that I acknowledge it. With respect to rules and amending it, I agree that the goal is not efficiency, and the goal is not self-protection. And I think when we get into the areas where there's decisions that are being made on your end that is not necessarily consistent with democracy or the protection of the people or doing the people's business, but doing the city's business, it becomes an us and them dynamic. And we sense it, we feel it, because we're here every single day with you, every day. Okay, this is a step in a direction, but there's no communication though. This is the way that you communicate, is by putting something on the agenda, and then we have to kind of like, you know, decipher and assume, you know, certain things. You know, last night's meeting, that was a joke. That was a joke, what was being done with the land issues. I mean, it was a farce. Okay, those things have to be challenged. They have to be challenged in court because it's not going to happen here. It's just not going to happen. So that's where it has to go. And then we let a judge, an impartial judge, examine what we have been experiencing.
Hey,
And
Paul,
then,
you're straying from the item on the agenda.
well, it's about amending the rules in open government because it needs to be amended and changed. It does, not necessarily by the government. You guys don't have the capacity to do it. It has to be done by an outside.
All right, that is it for public comments. Bringing it back to the committee. Councilmember Cohen.
Just a quick question for you, Chair. What can we just help me understand what's changed on the work plan that's being adopted versus what was already in the work plan?
Yes, actually, I'm going to ask Tony to
Sure.
answer the question because she can answer it much better than I can.
Hi, this is Tony Tabor, City Clerk. We just are changing the agenda to make it easier to follow for the public. So if you look at the format of all of the headings, it's just been made easier to understand.
I see. Okay, thank you. I'll move approval.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Don't see other hands raised. Tony?
Arenas,
Yes.
Cohen?
Aye.
Davis?
Yes.
Morales?
Yes.
Jones?
Aye. All right, on to open forum. So first speaker is Blair.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for the meeting today. We're in the last year of the Liccardo administration and many elected officials. I hope the mayor is interested in the ideas of how to further the democratic process and what can be better and better open public practices. I really hope he lays the groundwork for that in our future. what can be our future of more open democratic practices, and what can be a more academic process of government, how we practice government. And good luck in those efforts. I wrote a speech from last night. I had a quick few words that I have to now run around to try to find that I cannot find. Here it is. As dirty fossil fuels and their economy will be needed for only a short amount of time in the event of any future Bay Area natural disasters, many people are figuring out good, intelligent ways to continually build at this time renewable energy ideas in its local procurement process, as it is this idealistic good thinking and economy that will be much needed in how to return to our regular good practices in the event of any future Bay Area natural disasters. We need fossil fuels in the time of natural disaster, but not much else. Let's really consider the good ideals of renewable ideas and real renewable ideas like solar. And good luck in that work. I hope we can continue to make clear that it may take into the early 2040s or even 2050s for California high-speed rail to reach San Jose. Good luck on an open process to be able to do that. And good luck on Chappie Jones and myself being able to further discuss African-American history issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian?
First of all, your jobs are not hard, are not, sorry, take it back. Your jobs are very hard. Mr. Jones, you've always been respectful to people and everybody else has too, but I've sort of developed a rapport with you that I'm gonna miss when you term out. And so I rarely say this, but I'd like to see you be able to run again. And that's because you really did help out the people at the park for one. You really pushed hard for that, and it was good. I'm just gonna throw out an idea here. Energy is a big deal, and California is trying hard, but we all know that the rain problem, the lack of rain, is caused by climate change, and one of the biggest contributors to climate change is fossil fuels. And since it's hard to breathe without oxygen, and that we all, like Carl Sagan says, are on this pale blue dot together, we don't really have any choice. Now, like I said, I don't have any children, and but I want to see children do better than we do. I want to see us blossom. And one little story, I came back down Meridian where that young man was staying up under the bridge, and they had cleaned the area I'd requested, but it appeared that they left the items that he uses to sleep there. And that's not the best, but it shows how the city tries to meet the needs of everybody. And that cannot be easy when there's clangering back and forth. So I really do appreciate that. And I thank city staff. I thank all of you. I really do mean that. And it means a lot. I still weep for that young man because no one should ever be on the street, but you can't do everything. You really can't. There's only so much money, so many resources, and you're juggling 50,000 things at the same time. My hat's off to all of you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Brian. Next speaker is Gail.
Good afternoon. First off, I would like to say thank you to Council Member Perales for today's wonderful ribbon cutting ceremony at Lot E. This is very exciting. I wish it was open now, but we have to wait probably 6 to 8 months, but that's okay. I'm very excited about it. So thank you, Raul, for your efforts on that. Secondly, I just came from the motel where the folks from Component Apple are staying. They only have a few more months, and they're not getting help. I'd like somebody to look into where the money has gone from Apple. Folks were promised vehicles fixed, Home First hasn't. Vehicle registration, Home First hasn't. So I'd like somebody to look into that. There's so much bad things going on over there. It's a travesty. And you all think that Home First is going to help the folks at Spring and Taylor. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They get millions of dollars and they're not doing their job. I'm sorry. I've said this for years. Nobody is holding them accountable. But I'm very sad about what's going on at the motel. I don't know where folks are going to go, and I'm hoping that Councilman Cohen will look into this and check in with Apple. There are vacancies there. Why? Can't other unhoused people go there to live or stay? You know, I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. There's only 20 people and there is room. So please, somebody look into this. And again, Raul, thank you very much for the ribbon cutting.
Thank you, Tessa.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Gail and Osmer. Thank you for putting your last name and your middle name. We love it because we need to know who each other is. Ideally, we should put our emails so we can communicate and help each other, because that was one thing. Brian, who I don't know his last name, was saying that Carl Sagan says we're all on this same blue dot together. And I was talking to my husband about it, and he says, no, we're really not together. There's so much division. You know, we're physically together, but there's so much division going on. And, you know, basically, the divisions come from our thinking about phantasm, which are politics, religion, and economics. That those are phantasms, they're abstractions. And the reality is what we're dealing with, the reality, which is the science, is what's really going on in terms of our fossil fuel use, the amount, the level of fossil fuel use we have. And look what's happening today. It's 85 in Los Angeles. It's 75 here today. And it's spring already. And my husband has always said, as a biologist and a climate scientist, that Los Angeles is going to drop, you know, the whole Southwest is going to be uninhabitable. And this is the climate refugees coming right here. There's no blockage for them to come up to San Jose, where we have the sweet spot. And that's where we have to be dealing with our housing and our food security that we're not dealing with. And my son is planning on running for mayor. And the difference that Marshall Woodman C, 21, as a Gen Z, is about that, is that he says that, first of all, I'm his co-chair of his campaign. That was good, his mother. He's moved home. And the best thing is he's going to have his father, who is the climate scientist and the biologist, be the advisor, his advisor. And that's the change. That's the change we need, is to be advised.
All right. Paul?
Yes, Paul Soto from the Horseshoe. I look forward to that, Tessa. I would look forward to having your husband have a platform in the city. I was able to listen and to learn just how much the breadth of his knowledge and its practical applications as within the discussions of climate change. So I welcome that. You know, there's two types of there's a power dynamic here, and it's very, very difficult to bridge that power dynamic. We have a democracy that we believe, the people, in the Constitution, because the Constitution is versed by a moral authority, a moral law. You see, and then there's the government that you guys practice, and what you practice is not democracy. It's just not. You're privy to information that we do not have. You extract power from other people that have power, and they leverage that power within the context of these agenda items. And that is just a fact. And I don't expect you to admit, I don't expect you to say it out loud. I don't expect the city to exercise that degree of humility, because if it could, it would have already done it by now. Okay, but it doesn't have the capacity for that degree of humility. You know, the Mexican experience in the way that it expressed itself through the Chicano culture, okay, is a very unique, it's probably one of the most unique experiences here in the United States. And the reason why is because he was born in the context of the country of his origin, where he was labeled an immigrant, where he was labeled a foreigner, where the language that he spoke was foreign. There is no other race that has ever experienced that in the history of the world. Now, we restored Israel. We restored them. What about us?
All right. that was the last public speaker, so this meeting is adjourned. Take care, everyone. Bye.